this thing on? All right, cool. Hi, I'm ka-en-byou, no relation. Been a while. But yeah, welcome to the second episode of this thing called ka-en-byou in the interim. The stupid little podcast thing I thought I was going to make in the interim between the period vaguely defined as now and the period defined as when I have a new PC in order to make real YouTube videos. And you'll never guess what happened. I got a new PC. Some other stuff happened too. But that's a big one. I got a new PC, and it didn't cost me a cent. My brother, he upgraded his rig, and then he's like, well, I know you don't have a computer, so I'll just give you my old one after I clean it up and everything. So, yeah, real PC now. It's running a GTX 1060, so it's still pretty old in the grand scheme of things, but it's also a hell of a step up from the GTX 960 that I was running, and hopefully I'll be in a pretty decent position to upgrade it going forward. So that's cool. Anyway, I guess this podcast, quote unquote, the reason for its existence is pretty much gone. Maybe if there's stuff that I want to kind of talk about in a more casual format, I'll keep it up. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. Back to your regularly non-scheduled programming, I guess. And speaking of schedule, maybe I should talk about why I started episode 1 of a podcast and never did anything else. That I suppose that's kind of normal, right? So many podcasts, die before they even really get off the ground. I recorded like maybe 20 or something episodes of a podcast with a few friends a couple years ago, and then that none of those ever got released at all. So yeah, entirely normal thing. But yeah, there's a few reasons why there was never an episode 2 until just now. One of those reasons is simply that I kind of got just it was a combination of like distraction, not being sure what to kind of talk about, and also like forgetfulness. I was doing other shit. One of the big things that I was doing that took up a lot of my attention actually was moving. I had to move house. So, I just, for a period of like 6 to 8 months, I just could not catch a fucking break. But it seems I've caught my break now. Things are doing pretty well, all things considered. My finances are pretty stable. I'm in a good little house, rent's cheaper. Things are kind of just generally looking up. I do have a lot of, I guess, extra personal clarity as well. And I kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the last one of these, where I sort of gave all the reintroductions and everything. It's very much a case of like, if you know, and if you don't really need to. It's kind of not worth anyone's time. But for anyone who kind of wants a bit of a down low on, I guess, how I'm feeling about whatever the fuck happened and why it happened at the end of 2024, then you can just head over to my website, which I've relaunched, ka-en-byou, so knbyo.neocities.org. Link will be in the description as well. But yeah, if you know roughly what happened and you want my final thoughts on everything, it's all there. It's probably not going to stay up forever, but it'll be around. Yeah, no, just kind of emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, technologically, I guess it's all good. We are doing so good right now, and it's only going to get better. So yeah, that's life. Now with that being said, I guess the big things to talk about otherwise are well, for starters, so I've kind of said on multiple occasions that, like, I don't know, I was going through it for a while. For a while, I thought I was never going to play fighting games again. That was funny. I'll never stop playing these stupid ass games, and there are so many friends that I'm just never going to lose from it. So, I'm still kind of floating around, and I still, have thoughts about stuff, which will be important for a thing that I want to talk about, kind of regarding what's coming next for this channel. But, we won't worry about it until then. But yeah, basically, I'm still kind of floating around. I'm hanging out with like fighting game friends to play fighting games again, which is pretty cool. Having a new PC means I can finally grind VF5 as much as I want. God, Virtua Fighter 5 is so good. You guys should really play Virtua Fighter 5. If you like fighting games, you just gotta play VF, dude. It's so good. It's the forever game, man. That game makes me so happy every time I play it. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, I'm kind of like, I guess, casually playing games again. I don't really have much interest in like competing, so I don't really tie myself down to any main games anymore. My ass is not touching Guilty Gear with a fucking 10-foot pole anymore. Irrespective of outside circumstances, I just think Guilty Gear doesn't really give me what I want out of fighting games anymore. But, I won't not recommend like Plus R. I've said it before, and I've copied the phrasing from a friend. The game frequently goes on sale for prices that look like money laundering. So it's cheap. It's got really good netcode. It's got cool music, cool characters. It's full of bullshit. It's a good time. But as for me, I kind of pictured myself as being out of the, like, organizing space. And that's kind of true. Except it's also kind of not. Because friend of the channel and friend of the Oren in real life, Heather, is now running her own shit. And it's real kind of like, it's not a tournament or anything like that. If anyone in Brisbane is looking for a kind of tournament-y sort of deal to replace the Couch Warriors Queensland Ranbats, which don't really happen now because they don't have a venue anymore. Like, their regular venue is being torn down for renovations, I think. And I'll be charitable and say that everyone on the Couch Warriors Queensland organizing team is too busy doing other shit to really focus on getting things back up and running again. So if you're looking for an event to sort of replace that, obviously if you play games like Street Fighter 6 or what do they play over there? I'm talking about Ascend, which is an event that happens once a month out at Cooper's Plains. Yeah, they play like Street Fighter 6 there. They play, and they sort of rotate other games. They'll play Under Night in Birth. They'll play Guilty Gear Strive. They'll play Grand Blue Versus, etc., etc. I think it's mainly for Street Fighter 6 and Strive. That's where you want to go if you want to play in tournaments for those games. If you want to play kind of more of the anime-focused side, so that's primarily stuff like, again, your Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Versus, Under Night in Birth, and if you also want, like, some of the more fun, casually oriented stuff that you would get at the Queensland Rambats, like the rotation game and the mystery tournament, the Poverty Cup. I think they're still calling it that. Then you want to go to the farming market, which is an event that's being organized by a young guy named Dags and a few other cool folks from the Brisbane scene. So if you're into that sort of thing, head over there. They haven't got a set venue just yet. It's very new. Last one was at Newmarket, which is pretty easy to get to if you're in Brisbane. It's just on the train line. You just take the Ferny Grove line and you're good to go. There's also some Tekken thing that's happening. They run it out of a student accommodation building in the city, I want to say. But there's a Tekken local. I don't know. I don't care about Tekken. Yeah. There's something in Brisbane that happens for Tekken. If for some reason you like Tekken, go there. But there is also another event which Heather's putting on once a month called Block on Both Sides. And it's not a tournament. It's not anything other than just we get a whole bunch of friends together. We have like, games, drinks. Maybe we do the Nightmare Blunt rotation. That's not a nightmare. That's a fucking great blunt rotation. It's just real kind of casual house party sort of vibes for a lot of, for like the old heads, for people who just want to like play old shit and some new shit. We got some Street Fighter 6 players and they're all pretty cool. It's very explicitly trans friendly. Because half the fucking attendees and like the main person running it is a trans woman, so you would hope so. But yeah, no, it's just really cool, really good vibes. And I've accidentally been drafted into helping run this shit. So I'm not back in the game, but I'm back in the game, I guess. It's nothing that serious, so it's whatever. But yeah, so if y'all are in Brisbane and you want a cool ass, just chill monthly event to come out to, kind of, yeah, it's like fighting game house party, it feels like, then check out check out Block on Both Sides. There's a Discord. It's like a semi-invitational kind of thing. Like you sign up and then obviously if people know people, then you'll be guaranteed to get in. It's all just real relaxed, friendly stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing aside from just working, paying rent, etc. Yeah, the only other thing I really need to talk about is, I guess kind of what's happening, because the new computer happened to me very suddenly. I was originally thinking, okay, I got a really good tax return this year, so I'm going to just save up a little bit of money. I'll budget myself like a decent mid-range computer, and we'll go from there. And then my brother just dumps this PC on me. while I was planning a quote-unquote episode 2 of this podcast that was not going to be so much a podcast as it was like a lecture, because the lecture format has been getting pretty popular on YouTube as of late, where, you know, it's just like a slideshow and sort of not fully scripted, like, speaking, but, you know, you're going off bullet points and stuff like that. I want to say it was popularized by Electric Wind Girlfriend and their videos about, like, you know, just random competitive Pokemon. It's been taken up, at least from what I've seen, it's been taken up quite heavily by Deltarune theorists, which is extremely funny to me for reasons that have nothing to do with the format itself. But yeah, the lecture format has become pretty popular, and the cool thing about the lecture format is that it's pretty low intensity in terms of, like, system usage overheads. So I was thinking, oh, well, I can actually make a little lecture on the NUC, won't take up too much time or space, and it'll be cool. Originally, I was planning on doing a quote-unquote lecture talking about how I would redesign Tekken 8, basically, because, you know, I can't help myself. Like, anyone who knows me from, like, the old Sleep Mode days knows that I have videos about, like, here's my proposal for how Tekken 8 could do Rage, or how Virtua Fighter could do its quote-unquote esports mechanics. Virtua Fighter's esports mechanics, I think, are exactly what we expected. Almost like the exact same concept, which is really funny, as what I suggested. It's basically just like, you know, you earn yourself like a big counter hit. I like how that game is going to have, it seems to have, if it's not like a lesser focus on juggle combos, and it'll have like smaller juggle combos, but it'll also have like stun chains, which seems pretty cool. Just kind of an aesthetic thing, it feels like to me, but yeah, you'll know that I have those, like, you know, mechanical proposals type deal. So I was thinking, like, well, okay, nobody seems to be happy with Tekken 8. Let me have a look at what the game is doing, and let me think about, you know, what do people actually like about Tekken? What do people want from Tekken? And let me see if I can sort of mind palace my way into, like, a different version of the game. Now, I do still have all of the, like, notes and everything on how I would do that if people want to see it. However, eventually I kind of realized that I don't have a horse in this race. I don't play Tekken 8. I don't own Tekken 8. The most investment that I have in the concept of Tekken is, like, telling Tekken players to stop playing games that they hate on the, like, vague hope that maybe one day they'll stop hating it. Like, you can run Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection on a toaster, bro. If you have, like, a decent mid-range PC, you can probably play Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and it's got online play. Like, you can just play that shit online. And it's got netcode, which is, like, arguably just as good as Tekken 8. I've heard people say it's better. A lot of it's probably placebo, but, like, you can just play that shit. So you just play old games, man. Like, it's all pretty accessible. Like, I mean, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrections online is notoriously crap, but even that on PC is pretty decent. You know, it's totally workable. I have played a long set of that game online with a friend. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it's playable, you know? I mean, also, there are just shitloads of other options, by the way. God, this is rambly, but that's what you signed up for. Anyway, there are tons of other options. You can pick up VF5 Revo for like $20. You can play VF3, all three versions of VF4, Dead or Alive 2 on Fightcade with rollback netcode for free. Or, you know, if you know the right people, you can just do it directly through the latest release of Flycast Dojo. That's probably the better option. I mean, shit. If you're hop on Arcadesia. I'm telling you, hop on Arcadesia. You can play like nobody knows about Zero Divide 2, but that game is fucking gas. Zero Divide 2 is gas. Fucking. You can play Zero Divide 2. You can play Tekken 3 if you want. You can play all sorts of like weird but really cool like 3D fighting games for the PlayStation 1. Like fucking if you want to play like extremely weird opinionated Virtua Fighter, you can play ka-en-byou 2. You can play what the fuck else is there? I mean, it's not really a 3D fighting game in the truest sense of the word, but the fucking Street Fighter EX games are there and they're fucking fire. EX2 Plus is like the best game about walking backwards and forwards ever invented. Obviously, there's a shitload of fantastic like 2D fighting games on the PS1 as well. Arcadesia also has Flycast Dojo support, and the absolute fucking wizard that develops Arcadesia, Ren, is developing a GGPO implementation for MAME so that you can play Tekken Tag Tournament, and they're also working on a on a GGPO like Saturn emulator as well, so you can play absolute fucking flames shit like Oscar 120% or Groove on Fight. Like the world is your oyster. You do not have to limit yourself to a game that you hate but maybe you'll like better a little later. But yeah, basically all of that is why I stopped wanting to make my lecture about how I'd redesign Tekken 8, because I legit just had like you know that moment from the Boondocks where the white guy almost gets baited into the N-word moment, but then he just goes, ha ha ha, wait a minute, I'm white. Like, I did the same shit, except it was, haha, wait a minute, I play Virtua Fighter. So, like, I don't know. I don't really care. So, basically, I instead thought about, like, well, okay, what kind of lecture would I want to make instead? And then the new PC hit me. But I still want to make that lecture. And I think this is going to be a really cool lecture, because I don't just want to like talk about video games. You know, not going forward. Like, you'll never be able to take fighting games away from me, even if I wanted them to be taken away from me. They just couldn't. But I do want to give a bit of a, I guess, preview of the sort of things, like the broader topics that I want to talk about on this channel going forward that aren't just video games. However, I do want to, I guess, ease people into it a little bit. So we're not talking about video games, but we are still going to be talking about Kamen Rider, because anyone who knows me knows that obviously I'm a really big fan of Kamen Rider, and I also speak a decent amount of Japanese. Like, I'm reasonably familiar with the language. I'm not passing the N1 anytime soon, but like I can kind of hold my own in day-to-day life. And I have some opinions about the art of translation. And so, like, the next sort of thing that I want to do, and it will still be in this lecture format, is going to be almost kind of academic. So it's not really a full preview of what I want to do going forward, because a lot of my analytical brain tends to focus on stuff like, you know, mechanical design, or, you know, themes, narratives, etc., etc. Like, you know, I have scripts for videos about, you know, analyzing like the ending of Full Metal Alchemist 2003 and what I think is going on there, or like, you know, the themes of like, like a thematic analysis of Kamen Rider Kuga, for example, right? Like, that's the sort of thing that I'm probably going to be doing a little bit more of going forward. This lecture that I'm planning is a little more academic because it's more of like a linguistic analysis. It's like linguistic and literary analysis because it's going to be talking about the most complete and like prolific translation of Kamen Rider Den-O, which is the translation that was done and published by TV Nihon. And it's going to be talking about like approaches to translation and where I think TV Nihon's approach to translation kind of doesn't do the script justice, and it doesn't do right by the audience. It's very opinionated, but it is a very kind of analytical sort of thing. And that's the next thing that is going to happen. I can't give you a set timeline, but it is going to happen. What's also going to happen is more streams. I can actually stream again, which is pretty cool. And obviously that's just the Twitch channel has been rebranded much the same as the YouTube channel and the everything else. So yeah, just like, you know, if you're already following Sleep Mode, then you will get notified when I go live under ka-en-byou. But I don't know, man. That about covers it. This is a short one. I guess it's just kind of like a long channel update rather than a like real podcast. But I mean, what's the difference, right? Anyway, I'm gonna leave it here. That's about all I wanted to say. Just wanted to tell you all what was going on. If you're in Brisbane, you can support Block on Both Sides via the Both Sides Patreon, which is also in the link down below, alongside a link to the Both Sides YouTube channel and the Both Sides Twitch account. Otherwise, thanks for your patience, everybody. Thanks for chilling. And yeah, I'll see you all when I see you. Peace.